Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Sante Adairius Rustic Ales, otherwise known as SARA, and they're out of Capitola, California, and this is their Of This World. So they're calling this one a Triple IPA that comes in at 10% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed, time of review. This can is just under 2 months old. And I'm going to give a huge thanks, shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Jesse, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he hooked me up with. And he hooked me up with another SARA beer. He sent a couple last year when he sent his first beer mail my way. He sent me a hazy IPA, and he also sent a fantastic Saison called Saison Bernice. So when I saw this one, I was like, yeah, let's go. A Triple IPA from Sante Adairius Rustic Ales. Let's get into it. So hops in this one, Citra, Mosaic, Cashmere, and Galaxy. Although I think the last year's version, I think this is like a yearly release. I forget what hops replaced what, but they also had Simcoe and Enigma. I think it replaced maybe the Citra and the Cashmere. So this hop bill, more in my wheelhouse, not a huge Enigma hop guy, so I'm glad it's not in here. So anyway, let's crack this one open, get in the glass. He sent me 2 cans of this. The other one I'm going to give to a couple good friends of mine and a fellow beer tubers, Dan and Mike over at FLX Beer Reviews. See if they enjoy this one. Hope I do. So this does not look super hazy. A little bit hazy, but not crazy hazy. Definitely more like the old school hazy look to it. So, yeah, that actually looks nice. Ooh, very bright. That's the one thing. I wish my camera was a little bit better, because I'd like to, when I say the beer's bright and vibrant, I'd like you guys to see that. This has a bright kind of orange color to it. It looks kind of like sunshine in glass. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it gets a little bit even brighter because the light's actually penetrating somewhat through it, not all the way. Like I could see the shadow behind, but I cannot make out my hand specifically. Has about 1.5 fingers of a bright white, creamy looking head. So that looks like a softly hazed Triple IPA. Not like a crazy hazy, but just like, you know, kind of like a Vermont, old school Vermont hazy IPA. Let's get a nose. That smells so different. What the f... All right, so there's a little bit of like a dirty citrus kind of vibe. But over top of it, it's very earthy and quite herbaceous, almost grassy. I'm getting like under-ripened melon, like cantaloupe, honeydew. Just very under-ripened fruit characteristics here. So not super sweet. You're getting the fruit, but like not an overt sweetness. Yeah, this smells so vastly different than a lot of Triple IPAs I've had, not only recently, but like ever. I feel like the hops are more to that, again, earthy, dirty, herbaceous, grassy vibe. It's not like a ton of fruit, and the fruit that there is under-ripened. I don't smell any booze whatsoever at 10%, which is scary. Yeah, this smells different, but actually pretty damn good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Jesse. It's a really different beer, but I dig it. There is this like sweet, but almost tart citrus vibe. Like I just bit into like a citrus fruit. Like I just peeled like a tangerine or orange, and I just took a bite of it. It's crazy. This is scary at 10%. A little bit of a warming in the chest. Absolutely no astringency on the palate. This also has, I didn't get it in the nose, but this is more like that pine resin, earthy kind of moderate to a touch over moderately bitter on the back of the palate. Yeah, so body on this one, it's a little thin at 10%. It's like medium, maybe higher side of medium body, 10%. A little bit thin. I usually don't get bothered too much, but I would like to see this a little bit thicker. The mouthfeel is definitely like a West Coast mouthfeel. This is moderately carbonated. It's crisp. It's effervescent. It's smooth on the palate. Very smooth, actually, on the palate. But it's not creamy. It's not soft. Probably not meant to be. Beautiful lacing. Taste. The taste is throwing me for a loop. Right at the forefront, it is citrus. It's orange, it's tangerine, it's grapefruit. Again, it's like you peeled it and you just bit into any one of those fruits. There's this underlying like bready, almost crackery malt character, but it's very minute. Doesn't like really step in the way, or it's not super noticeable, but it's there. As it passes through, that juicy kind of, you just bit into the citrus fruit, starts to turn into more of like, you bit into an actual like orange. So you're getting like the citrus oil to it, the orange oil. You're getting the bitterness from like the rind and the pith and everything. That starts to ramp up. I'm also getting like underlying hints of like, again, an under-ripened melon of some sort. I would say more cantaloupe or honeydew, something in that realm. And then it builds to the back of the palate where this finishes semi to full on dry. And the bitterness is moderate to a bit over moderate. Has a resinous pine, earthy kind of, almost slightly dank kind of feeling on the back of the palate. But I'd say more like a resinous pine and earthy pine, maybe even like a floral tone. It's all over the place, but it's definitely moderate to a touch over moderately bitter. It's a very interesting beer. I'm actually digging it quite a bit because it is unique and it's something different. I think I'd give it a much higher rating if the body wasn't as thin as it is. That would be something nice. And if there was believe it or not, 10% Triple IPA, if there's maybe a little bit more sweetness here. I think I would like a little bit more sweetness. That's a personal preference. I think probably if you're going for a West Coast Triple IPA, or just calling it Triple IPA, not calling it hazy, you're not calling it a New England style. If you're just saying here's a Triple IPA, it's probably appropriate. But I do want a little bit, I think this is a little bit unbalanced to the bitter side of things. This is like 60-40, 65-35 in terms of the bitterness compared to the sweetness. So I want a little bit more sweetness and a little better body, and this would get a much higher score. That said, I'm still digging this one quite a bit. I like the uniqueness to this beer. I like that underripened melon is cool. The fact that it's like super juicy citrus, like I just, freshly peeled an orange or a tangerine, and I'm cutting them into slices. I'm just biting right into them. That's a cool experience that I don't get a lot in beers. But this just needs a little bit more sweetness, a little bit body, get a bit of high score, a bigger score. But I'm impressed that it hides the alcohol quite well. Yeah, it's a fun, unique Triple IPA. I'm digging it. So Of This World from SARA, aka Sante Adairius Rustic Ales, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Given this beer right here, I'm going to go low 4.25. I'm going to go 4.15 out of 5. I think this gets a straight 4.25, maybe even like a high 4.25. If the body's better and there's a little bit more sweetness, again, this is all personal preference. You might drink this one and think this is a 5 out of 5. You might drink this one and think it's trash. I'm enjoying this one. I think just because it's tough to find beers, Triple IPAs like this nowadays that have an old school feel to them, that I do dig this one quite a bit. So thanks, Jesse. I'm curious to see what Dan and Mike will think about their can. I'm meeting up with them this upcoming weekend, so they'll probably get it about 2 months old, maybe a touch over. So hopefully they can get to it a bit quicker than, hopefully they can get to it relatively quick. I think this is drinking pretty well right now. So anyway, price point availability, I have no idea. So Jesse, post in the comment section if you can what you paid for a can of this, or anybody out there that gets their hands on SARA beers. What's a price point for a Triple IPA like this? It is California, so I'm imagining this is probably like $6 to $8 a can. Probably something in that realm. It is California, and a lot of the Triple IPAs are like $26, $27 a 4-pack. So I'm fine with that. It's California. It is what it is. And availability, I have no idea. So if anybody out there knows the distro of SARA, I'd imagine they're in California, maybe some other states out in the on the West Coast, or maybe even like the Southwest or Pacific Northwest. But we don't see them here in Buffalo, New York, which makes it even cooler that I am reviewing this one. So huge thanks to Jesse. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. Like I said, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. It's definitely a fun, unique, interesting, and more importantly, pretty tasty beer that I'm going to drink the rest of. I'm going to sip on this one for like the next half an hour, 45 minutes. Probably feel pretty good at the end of it, but hopefully by the end of it, I review a lot of these beers and then I drink them off camera, and by the end of it, they change sometimes as they warm up. And I'm sure this one's going to open up. Not that this is crazy cold. I typically grab them out of my fridge for like 20 minutes before I review them. So we'll see. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.